Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You have Dr. No Days Off here again, and we're going to be talking about the third part of our 3F series that we launched out. And the third F that we're going to be talking about is going to be finances, right? So let's recap. We talked about the first F is going to be friends, right? We talked about how friends affect your life, and how friends can F up your life, right? If you don't have the right friends around you, and how you classify people as friends and why you classify people as friends. Then the second F that we talked about would be family, right? Family is another F that can F up your life. And we talk about blood family, we talked about extended family, and we talked about how those dynamics can actually F up your life if you allow it to do so, right? Now we're going to talk about that third F, and that third F is finances. And finances is a powerful dynamic and a powerful F that can F up your life, right? And so what do we mean by how finances can F up your life, right? So when you don't have any money, when you're broke, as people will say, when you're broke, your life can be effed up. So a lot of people believe you go out here and you can earn all this money. You can go out here and you can, be rich, wealthy, and your life is all better. Well, in a sense, life can be better, but it's not a permanent fix or solution to making your life better. Finances is a part of your total life. It's not your entire life. And if you're working to, if you believe, and if you're working to just believe that that if I have all the finances in the world, my life will be a whole lot better. Okay. Actually, no, it won't be a whole lot better if you're just working to have finances to be the better part of your life. Finances, it works in conjunction with other parts of your life. Finances work in conjunction with your spiritual health. Finances work in conjunction with your mental health, right? It works in conjunction with your physical health. Now, finance is very important in your life, and how you utilize your finances is will allow it to either F up your life or it can make your life better, right? But as finances being a part of something that, one of the 3 F's that can F up your life, and why is it so important is because if you go back and you look at a lot of things, a lot of people, and I love people to take their own experiences. Don't just take Dr. No Days Off experiences, right? I want you to take your own experiences when it comes to finances. And I want you to take your own knowledge from your knowledge database, and you look at different people who have finances, who has utilized finances over the years, right? And learn from that. Sit back in that classroom, right? And learn from that. And so, and I use me as example, but as you're listening to me, I want you to picture yourself in your classroom, right? Looking at a chalkboard, like the one behind me, and your life being displayed on there. What do you know about finances? Who taught you finances? What did they teach you about finances? Then I want you to compare it to the real information, the true information of finances, and then you determine whether or not you really know how finances really work in your life, right? And so I would go on, and I love using my real world experiences, and I love using my practical knowledge on finances, because to me, that helps a lot of people. Because if you're in a boat, if you're like me, if you're anything like me, I was taught finances, and everybody's taught finances, right? You say, no, I wasn't taught finances. Everyone is taught finances. I didn't say you were taught the right thing about finances, but you were taught finances, right? So I was taught finances by my family, right? The people in my family, of course, growing up as a kid, that's one of the first ways that you're taught finances is by watching people in your own family. Well, the way I was taught about finances was not good at all. And typical I'm just gonna say it like it is, right? Typical ghetto Black family, right? Who always struggling with money. Money was all money didn't work with us and for us. We always worked for the money, right? My family always worked for the money. A lot of people still in my family still work for the money, and they haven't realized that you continue working for the money, and then you realize, and once you did that work for the money, and then the money is still in the same state, or it's not gotten any better, it's because you're not looking at it. You're not working with your finances, you're just working for your finances, if that makes sense, right? And so that's something that I learned very early, and I learned the wrong way, as I'm going to say. I learned the wrong way, and I didn't know how to save money. I didn't know anything about credit. I didn't know how to use credit properly, especially when I became a teenager, got my first credit card. That was a big mistake because I didn't know anything about credit, right? I was taught, basically like the typical ghetto crap, and I'm gonna call it crap because it's crap, because that's what's keeping people down. That's what's keeping people broke and poor. And understand that there's a difference between being broke and there's a difference between being poor, right? Broke is temporary, poor is eternal, right? You could be broke today, but that's a temporary state, right? But poor is a mindset, right? To be poor is a mindset. And you got a lot of people out here today that have a poor mindset, right? And I've met people all across the board. And in my young days, I'm still talking about me and myself. In my young days, I met people that would say, well, since I only got so much time on this planet, anytime I get money, I'm just going to spend it up because it doesn't matter, right? That's a poor mindset. They're defeated. They're already broken, right? And they don't want to fix themselves. And then some people they have that poor mindset, but they don't know how. They want to fix themselves, but they don't know how to fix themselves because they don't have the proper information, right? And then I've heard it all. I've heard, I have people say, well, I just live off cash. And I'm gonna tell you right now, that was another major mistake in finances that I followed at one point. And it was the dumbest thing that I've ever done. And I'm just gonna live off cash. I don't need no credit. If I can't buy it cash, then I don't need it. I don't want it. Dumbest thing I've ever did. Because when I really wanted to do something financially with my life and want to build and progress, I couldn't do it because guess what? I didn't have any credit. I was a grown man with limitations, a lot of limitations, and I had no credit. So I had to start credit at a very late stage and age of my life. And because of that, I'm still being affected by it, right? Because I don't have a long credit history. Right. So, and I learned right there that when I was told, oh yeah, just cash. If you can't buy it cash, then you don't need it, and this and that and all this, right? Ladies and gentlemen, that's stupid. It's dumb. And I'll tell you why it's dumb here in a few, right? But so that was what was done to me, right? And of course, just other things, other small things, and other little things that you learn, that you were taught wrong. Okay. And so that's what I mean by finances can F up your life. And it did. It effed up my life, right? Big time. Right? I had no clue about saving. And I would attempt to save here and there. But the moment, as soon as a tough time hit, I'm taking the money, I'm running. Or if I want something I really wanted, didn't need, I would take the money and run and everything. And I had no savings whatsoever. Okay. Because I wasn't practiced the discipline of saving. See, ladies and gentlemen, what you understand is it's not about the money when it comes to saving, it's about the discipline. Now, I understand. Oh, I have them still today. I have situations and circumstances that come up to say, man, I got to pull the money out of my savings, right? And that's fine. I've done that, right? But the first thing I do is I automatically make a contract with myself and say, hey, well, if I pull this money out of my savings, then when I start, to pay this, I got to pay this money back to myself. It's like I'm my own bank. I got to pay this money back to myself. And I'm the first person that's going to get paid back before I pay anybody else, right? So how do I do that? One of the things I do, like, I save a certain percentage out of all my income that comes in. Doesn't matter what it is, I save a certain percentage of my income, right? And some people, I always let people know, you want to start off at 10%. There's some people say, well, I just cannot afford 10%. If you cannot afford 10%, just start off at 1%. Start off at 1%, make a goal for yourself, like 6 months from now, move to 2%, move to 3%, 5%, whatever the case may be. But the key is you have to start somewhere. You have to start somewhere. You must start somewhere, okay? And then some people say, well, I just cannot afford to save whatsoever. Baloney. You can afford to save. You just don't want to save. Remember, I said mindset. Mindset, people. Mindset. You can save money. You just don't want to save money. Mindset, right? So some people say, well, when I start making this amount of money, I'm going to start saving. And I look at them and say, no, you won't. I have a lot of clients that say that. And I say, no, you won't. You won't start saving. If you start making $100,000 a year, you won't start saving 10% of your income. You won't. You don't have the discipline because you're not in that mindset. See, ladies and gentlemen, what you have to understand is if you want to start saving any kind of money, you have to start. Now, you cannot save $100 when you don't know how to save $1. Does that make sense? If you cannot save $1, in no way in the heck are you going to save $100. So you have to build up that discipline, that mindset. So this is the perfect time to start now. And one of the ways I help my clients with that is I say, okay, what do you spend your money on that you really don't have to spend your money on? And they're like, well, I really enjoy this, but I don't want to stop. I didn't say anything about stopping. I'm asking, basically, what is your discretionary funds? What is your expense funds and things like that, right? So, what is that? And they say, okay, well, I spend money at work. When I go to lunch, I buy lunch, and I buy my lunch every day. I say, okay, great. This is what I want you to do. I don't want you to stop buying your lunch. What I want you to do is I want you to take $1, $2, whatever, out of the amount of money you spend to buy your lunch every day. That's what I want you to save. They're like, oh, I could do that. I'm like, yeah, of course. Like, so if you spend an average of $5 for your lunch, spend $4. So when you go to Burger King, McDonald's, whatever, don't get the large size, get the medium size, so that way you can save that $1 or whatever the case may be, right? And then you take that dollar and you move that over. You have a separate account, or you move it, or you take it cash and you put it away somewhere, right? Where you can't see it, whatever the case may be, whatever the case, however you want to do it. Because what I'm working to get them to do is I'm working to get them to get into a discipline of saving money. Because if you get in a discipline of saving $1, then you can save $10. It'll be easier for you to save $10. Then when you could get a discipline of saving $10, it'll be easier in the discipline of saving $100, $1,000, $10,000, right? So that is something that you have to understand. Poor is a mindset. And if you don't get yourself out of that poor mentality and poor mindset, then you're going to always be there. You could be broke. There are days you can be broke. You can stay broke. Not stay broke, but you can be broke. Broke is temporary, because all you have to do is make a decision. Make a decision to change in your finances, right? If you're willing to do that, you'll stop being broke, right? And then you start building some wealth, right? And wealth generation, there's different stages of building that, and there's different ways to do that. But ladies and gentlemen, what I'm talking about here right now is how not to be in a poor mindset. And even if you're broke today, if you're sitting right here and you're listening to me and you're saying, well, Dr. Indio, I am just broke. That's okay. Dr. Indio been broke before too, right? There's some months I might be broke, right? Because I have a threshold of how much money I want to spend. And once I hit that threshold, anything after that, I'm considering myself being broke. And that stops my spending. Nope, not buying nothing, not buying anything. I got to go to work. I'm taking my lunch the rest of the month or rest of the week or whatever until I get paid again, because I'm at my spending threshold. And anything, if I go over this threshold, I'm broke. Right? That's another concept that I've adopted to help reverse the different types of finance, the wrong way I was taught about finances is I set a threshold for myself. And I get ornery when I get, I get nervous. I start getting to that threshold, right? Because I know when I get to that threshold, that's it. There's no more spending. Because if I got to borrow money for myself, then I'm going to pay it back to myself, and I'm going to pay it back to myself with interest. That's another step. Because if you're going to borrow money from a bank, you're going to borrow money from a credit card, you're going to borrow money from a loan company or whatever, they're going to charge you interest. So when you borrow money from yourself, you need to charge yourself interest. I'm not saying kill yourself with the interest, because but you want to be smart about it. But charge yourself interest, because you know what you do, right? To me, interest and stuff, that's stupid tax, right? Yeah, it's stuff that we pay because we borrow money to pay off, large purchases. But my mentality, once again, remember finances. I changed my mindset. I don't like paying stupid tax. Why would I give you more money like on the credit card? If I'm going to spend money on my credit card, right, and at the end of the month, I don't pay it off, and you charging me for spending the money that I'm going to pay you back anyway, that I'm paying off anyway, then that, to me, that's stupid tax. I understand you providing a service, and that's why you do it. I'm not refuting that. What I'm saying, to me, in my mentality, I'm being stupid by giving you more money than what I necessarily have to give you. Does that make sense? Right? So this is my mentality when it comes to finances, right? And so so when I borrow money against myself, I charge myself interest. Because what that's going to teach me to do is stop borrowing money against yourself, right? Then if I stop borrowing money against myself, then guess what? Then that means that I have better control over my finances. I'm not dipping into my savings, right? I'm not spending stuff that I don't really need. I really don't need. I just want, And I get all the excuses in the world. Well, I work hard, so I'm gonna play hard. Okay, everybody that know Dr. No Days Off knows excuses. It's like elbows and buttholes. Everybody has at least one excuse, right? Everybody can give you an excuse. You can make up so many excuses for yourself, but at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, it's just an excuse. It might be a great excuse. Hell, it might even be a valid excuse. But at the end of the day, it's just an excuse. That's all it is, right? So you have to understand that and realize that with yourself. You can give yourself excuses for why you spend the money. I work hard, so I'm gonna play hard. I have to go on vacation. I gotta go on vacation. You don't gotta go on vacation. You want to go on vacation. There is a difference, ladies and gentlemen. And people say, well, for my mental health and everything, once again, excuse. Might be a good excuse, but once again, the reason why you gotta go on vacation is for your mental health. You're giving yourself an excuse for what you want to do, not what you need to do, right? I'm not saying that taking a vacation is not a good thing. You see, well, Dr. No Days Off, you Dr. No Days Off, you don't take a day off. I take days off, right? But I don't make an excuse to take the day off. I take the day off for whatever the reasons that I might have to take that day off, or I might want to take. It might be a day say, you know what, I just want to take this day off because I don't want to do anything. There's no excuse. Well, I've been working for 12 days straight, so I need a day off. No, I just want to take this day off. I don't have to have an excuse for taking a day off. I just want to take it off, right? See, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm saying is when you stop giving yourself excuses, when you stop giving yourself, making excuses for yourself, you stop accepting excuses from everybody else. And that's one of the reasons why when in Dr. No Days Off coaching, it's no excuse coaching. You can come in, no, I have empathy for you. You can come and tell Dr. No Days Off all the stuff in the world and make up all the excuses. I'm gonna look at you like, okay, but at the end of the day, it's still an excuse. So what you want to do about it, right? And there's some people who can't take that yet. They're not ready for that. So they don't come to Dr. No Days Off, right? They go to somebody else that's going to accept that allows them to accept those excuses for themselves, right? So because it makes them feel good, right? They don't feel bad about the choices that they're making because they want to do stuff, but they don't need to do stuff. right? Because, you know, it's amazing to me how people with all the money in the world, you know, people get mad at them because every time you see them, they are in Belize, Bahamas, traveling the world. Oh my gosh, I wish I had all the money in the world to do this because, you know, I'll be able to do that too. But what they don't realize is you see a picture of them doing something, traveling the world or whatever the case may be at a certain time. But what you might not know is, you know, they've been busting their butt for the last 5 years, becoming who you see them are today. And this is their day off in 5 years. Just because you don't see them in a movie every year, every other month, don't mean they weren't working. See, ladies and gentlemen, it's perception. It's all about perception. You know, it's so amazing that, you know, I live in a community now where I live at. I live on a lake, right? I live in a community now. Everybody around me have boats, jet skis, you know, ATVs, trackers, and all this other good stuff, right? And they have all these nice toys, right? I call them toys. And it's amazing how, you know, they will sit there and they try to live like the Joneses. They try to live like the next people, the people that live next to them, see what they got. You know, then you come over here to Dr. NDO, and it's like, well, he doesn't have a boat. Don't need one. Don't want one. Right? I want one, right? But the one I want, I'm working for it. I'm working for that boat. And how I want to pay for that boat and what I want to do with that boat, those are my goals. But for me just to go out and get a boat because everybody else got a boat, that's not Dr. NDO, right? Do I want a jet ski? Yeah, I'm thinking about it. It's on my dream board. But is that the priority item for me right now? No, it's not. Right? Do I need a boat? No, I don't need a boat. I need a boat for. Do I want a boat? I want a boat. But do I need a boat? No, I don't need a boat. See, I have more priorities. And I have my neighbors come to me, oh man, you ought to get your boat. Oh man, you ought to get this, you ought to get that. I'm like, yeah, I don't need it. That's exactly what I say to them. I don't need it. I even had one neighbor say, well, why would you buy a house on the lake if you don't get on the lake? I was like, first off, why I bought my house here is my personal business. You know, I might say that. I'm not being, you know, I'm not angry with them. I'm just like, it's my business. I bought it because this is the house my wife and I wanted. I didn't buy it because I didn't buy my house on the lake in this area because I wanted to be friends with you. I didn't buy it because I saw what you had and I want what you have in the boat and all this good stuff. That's not why I'm here. I'm here because this is what my wife and I want to do. This is where we wanted to settle, and this is how we're going to live our lives. Now, that's first one. Second, just because you have it, just because you do it, doesn't mean I have to. Oh yeah, ladies and gentlemen, don't get it wrong. Peer pressure is a mother. It's a mother at my age to some people, not to Dr. NDO, but to some people. And they just look at me like, well, wow. Why what? You know, why, you know, see, people have to realize and see, how many of y'all out there know people like that right now? Right? I mean, literally, they would come to me, well, why would you buy a house on the lake if you don't get on the lake? Like, he was offended. And I was like, well, I'm offended, you offended. Right? I'm offended, you offended. Right? So, but understand, that's okay. I'm not here to please them. You're not there to please the people in your neighborhood. You're not there to please people outside of you and your household and what you have going on, right? And what and your goals. See, that's what I'm trying to get you to understand. Discipline, mindset. I have goals. And those people out here living like the Joneses, they're broke. They're broke. You know, it's one guy out here, they had to sell their Corvette so they can get this boat. Excuse me? And then he thinks he's living a life. No, you're not. If you love this Corvette, this is what you wanted to have. This is your little toy, whatever the case may be. But why would you have to sell it to get the boat? Evidently, you're robbing Peter to pay Paul. Right? And everybody know with a boat, is always, you always put money in the boat. But anyways, but that's just an example, ladies and gentlemen, of the difference between a need and a want. I don't need a boat. I want a boat. There's not going to be rain of 40 days and 40 nights. Now, if they tell me it's going to rain for the next 40 days and 40 nights, I just go ahead and buy me a boat, right? Because it's going to flood. It's going to rain 40 days, 40 nights. We all know what happened last time it did that, right? So I need a boat. But do I need a boat right now? No, I don't need a boat right now. I just want a boat. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the difference. There's a difference between your needs and your wants and your finances. And when it comes to your finances, you have to have the discipline to decipher the two, because if not, it's going to F up your life. How many of y'all out there right now are saying, oh my gosh, yeah, my finances did F up my life, And, so I had a great mentor. I had great mentors, but I had a great mentor in business and in life too. One of the things that we used to always say to people when we was building our marketing team, and people would come in and say, I really want to do this, I really want this and this, but I just don't have the money to get myself started. I even talk about this when it comes to our insurance agents. And we bring on our insurance agents and stuff, because, to build a career, and especially, building a career that's going to generate residual passive income, even real estate agents, it costs you money to become a real estate agent. It costs you money to have any job. People just don't think. You just don't pay for that job. But anytime you decided to go out on your own and venture out on your own, it's going to cost you money. It costs money to launch our company. It costs money to launch Dr. No Days Off Coaching. It costs money to launch TMTSI. It costs money to launch the Legal Extraordinary People Agency, LOEP agency, the business that we own. It costs money to launch Visions Unfolding, Mrs. Dr. Indio's company, Custom Heirloom and Gift Company. It costs money, right? But see, you don't realize that if you come from an employee mindset and employee world, because they pay for those charges for you, right? But if you think about it, how many of y'all went out and started a new job and they had a certain dress code and you didn't have the clothes at the time for that? What did you have to go out there and do? You had to go out there and buy the clothes, right? Get the money some kind of way so you can start working at this job. But guess what? You invested into your job. Some of you probably saying, oh, what? You invested. So it's no difference than investing into your business, into a business. You invested into your job, right? When you just started working and you got to drive to work or catch the bus or have you commute to work, right? And you got to do that for a week, 2 weeks before you get your first paycheck. Guess what you did? You did the same thing an entrepreneur does when they invest in their business. They put the money forth first, and then they're getting paid in the back end of the efforts that they put into working at that job. It's no difference. The difference is they make you think that it's more secure, right? And a lot of people are learning today that no, it's not as secure as you think it is, right? But anyways, so when it comes to finances, you have to invest. You have to invest in your into your finances and into your financial world. You have to invest, right? How do you do it? There's many different ways to do it. And there's a lot of people out here that's going to talk to you about it and say, oh, don't do this, don't do that, then do that. Yeah. Okay. I will always let people know that's great. There are professionals, and I'm not saying all of them are underhanded, because they're not, right? But there are some that they don't, you got to find someone who is going to look out for your best interest as far as like you would. So for instance, if you don't take an interest in me and what I do, then how in the world are you going to take an interest in my money? Right? So that's how Dr. NDO looks at it. Okay. And I have people come and tell me, well, this is not good to get, this is not great to get. I'm not saying, well, why is it not? Well, because the market says this and the market says that. I'm like, no. You told me it's not. So why is it not good for me based off what you're saying? Don't tell me what the market is doing, what the market is saying. Why did you tell me that? And they would look at me and be like, well, like I said, the market. I said, so the market tells me that this is not a good investment. It's not you. So why am I paying you? I could just pay the market, right? And they look at me kind of crazy. I say, see, what you don't understand is I want to know, I want your professionalism. I want your best. I want you to look at this like this is your money, right? My money is your money. So, well, first of all, I hope you take good care of your money. But anyways, then that's the kind of person you need to find. Is find somebody who takes good care of your money. Because when you get money, right? Anybody ever have those family members or people or friends around you that when you get money, they always want to tell you what to do with your money. But then you look at their lifestyle and you like, you don't do well with your money. Then why should I listen to you? And you listen to them anyway. And then you wonder why at the end of the day, you wonder why at the end of the day, you don't have any money. That happens, right? So anyways, my point is, when I'm talking to insurance agents and financial advisors, bringing them onto the agency, and I get someone that asks me, well, why is it that I must pay for this and you guys don't pay for it, or pay for certain things like their testing and things like that? We have a reimbursement program, but anyways, like I say, they say, well, why won't you guys pay for it up front like a lot of other companies do? And I look at them and I say, that's a great answer. The reason why we don't is because we want you to invest in yourself first, right? What we're teaching you is we're teaching you a discipline. From day one, we're teaching you a discipline. So when you sit down and you're interviewing with us from day one, I'm teaching you a discipline. I want you to start having a discipline of investing in you first. So when you come into the agency, then you understand that, this is not just an investment in the agency, it's also an investment in you, right? So you need to show us, so why would I put forth the money to invest in you when you won't even invest in you? So basically you want me to take care of you, but you won't take care of yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, that's not a good plan, right? So that's what I let them know. I said, well, it's because we want you to have some skin in the game. We want you to invest in you first. And then we want to see how you're going to treat yourself when it comes to this career or this new lifestyle or that you want to get into. And then, you qualify in a reimbursement program, we'll reimburse you. Some people don't like it. Well, that's not how I really wanted to do it. I'll go here with this company that they'll pay for my test. And I'm like, okay, fine, go right on ahead. No issues. And then I have some people like, well, that's pretty understanding. That's pretty smart, right? And but a lot of people that don't choose to do it realize is that, you're not willing to invest in yourself. Once again, you want somebody to take care of you. You're not willing to invest in yourself. So you're not willing to control your finances well. And then that's a way for us to figure out how you think, right? Because if you're thinking that you want somebody to take care of you, then how we're looking at it from a company standpoint is, well, when you go to talk to clients, then all you care about is how much money you're going to make off this, writing up this policy, instead of making sure that you're actually taking care of the client and the client is getting what they want, not what you want, right? So that's another way that we weed out, and we're very selective on who we bring on into our agency because of that process, right? And because once again, we're teaching you a discipline, and because we understand the 3F's, and we understand how finances work and how finances can F up your life, right? And if you're not disciplined with your finances, then your life is out of balance. So, ladies and gentlemen, you can throw your life out of balance because you don't have the proper finances, right? Or the proper financial management and mindset. Okay, so I don't know if anybody has a question out there for Dr. NDO today about finances. I am not a certified financial guru, but I will tell you this: I'm certified enough to know how I can build my finances from a standpoint in which I was taught the wrong way about money, and I turned my life around, and now I know the right way about money, and so it's all about mindset. It's all about discipline. Like I said, if you cannot discipline yourself to save, if you will not, and he said you cannot because you can, if you will not discipline yourself to save $1, you will not discipline yourself to save $10. You will not discipline yourself to save $20, right? And I know Mrs. Dr. NDO, she had some words of wisdom that she wanted to imply upon women when it comes to finances. But unfortunately, she's actually out of the country right now on some business and stuff. So that's not possible. I don't know if she was able to get on at this time because there's a major time difference. Um, but that it just happens that way. But hopefully we can circle back around and she's able to come on at another time. Matter of fact, I might just see if she'll do a whole separate segment just for the ladies when it comes to finances. So because there's a difference in a sense, and in the way our society has taught us, and especially women, on how to deal with finances, that a lot of women are set up for failure when it comes to finances, right? And it's not just women, because you can get men get set up for failure too, but it's a little bit more detrimental to a woman, And so I'm not even going to go into that. I'll let Mrs. Dr. NDO launch that podcast on that, and so you can. You can follow her. You put in Mrs. Dr. NDO or Mrs. Donna Williams, and you'll find her on Wisdom, and then when she launched that podcast, you'll be able to get a message notification when that's going to happen. So, but in the meantime, when we talk about these finances, like I said, and like I've been saying, it is something that can really F up your life, right? So you have to reverse your thinking. It's all about a mindset. I told you a couple of things that I do that change my mindset. When I borrow money from myself, I'm number one, paying it back to myself, and I'm charging myself interest, right? And to me, it's a win-win, because I have the money to borrow for myself and I pay myself back with interest, and that means I put more money back into my savings, right? I have other little tactics and stuff that I do to that allows me to better myself in my finances. I read, I study, I look at different things. I always let people know, like I told you, heard me talk about how one of the dumbest ideas I was ever told was just live off cash, right? Ladies and gentlemen, listen, I'll tell you that it was dumb, because like I said, I was older when I went to want to buy my house. I went to go buy my vehicle, that I wanted to get and everything. I had no credit. So it cost me more money in interest and everything like that. And I learned I'm paying way more. I paid way more than what I needed to, because I had no credit. I had to build up my credit history, right? Because I was living off the dumb idea of cash, right? Now, I always let people know, now listen, look at how your country operates, right? And this is how I always tell people, look how the world operates, look how your country operates. Here in America, this is how this country runs off cash, credit, right? Investments, all that good stuff. So guess what you need to be building on? Cash, credit, investments, real estate, right? Property, assets, all that good stuff. You need to be building the same way, because that's the way this country operates. Now, if you're in a country that just operates off cash, great, just have cash, because that's what your country operates off of, right? Or that's what your society operates off of. But if your society has multiple streams of income or multiple ways to earn money or have money work for them, then you need to learn a little bit about it to say, hey, I need to probably be in there somewhere, right? I'm not saying you got to be an investment guru. I'm not an investment guru, but I have investments, right? I'm not saying you got to be a real estate guru, and all this good stuff, but I have real estate, all right? So, but it like I said, once again, mindset. Broke is temporary, poor is eternal. Question is, even if you're poor now, do you want to stay poor? And if you make a decision, you got to get mad about it. Make a decision. When you make that decision, and I'm not saying sit here and make that frivolous decision that you've always made, and then you go back and you change your mind later on. No, you make that decision now. Make a decision, right? And then when you make that decision, then you manage that decision every single day. You got to manage that decision every single day after you made that decision. Okay. Um, so you got to keep that in mind. After you make a decision, you got to manage that decision. Once you manage that decision, nothing else matters. Nothing else really matters once you manage that decision. So what are you going to do today? How's it going to happen today? Right? You know, are you, if you're broke today, you don't stay broke. You don't have to stay broke. Right? It's temporary. Just change your habits. How do you change your habits? You change your daily actions. And then you do it so much that it becomes a habit. Because once you start saving that dollar and you get into the habit, just automatic now, increase it, it is automatic now. So when you're making that $100,000+, $250,000 a year to save $5 grand, it's no big deal. It's no big deal, right? If you knew how much money Dr. Indio puts away every month, you're like, wow, how in the world is he able to do that? Mindset. Okay? It's all about understanding that finances can F up your life. And if it has already F'd up your life, this is a way to fix it. You can fix that. You can change that about you. You can change that about your finances, and that's simply by mindset, changing the way you think about your finances. Stop talking about being broke, right? Dr. Indio do not say he talk about being broke. I might be broke, but you'll never hear me talk about it. Now, I remember years ago, I was working somewhere, and just happened years ago. I was working somewhere, and some of my employees was having a conversation, and they were like, yeah, you know, Dr. Indio is never broke. And I looked at him, I actually kind of caught my attention. I looked at him, I'm like, you know, what makes you say that? You know, and I said just like that, what makes you say that? I said, because we never hear you talk about, you know, being broke or having no money, anything like that. I said, oh, I got money. They're like, oh yeah, we know. I said, I always have money. And I walked off, right? And I wasn't bragging when I said it. That wasn't the point. They didn't understand why I said that. See, I said, yeah, I got money. And it's true. I had money. How much money is the question you didn't ask me, which is a question I'm not going to answer because it's none of your business. That's my personal business. But yeah, I have money. How much money? It just depends, right? So at the time that they asked me, my finances weren't probably any better than some of them probably had better finances than me. And then so when I said I have money, you're right, I did. Because one of the things I was taught by my mentor years ago was take $1. You have $1? Yeah. He said, take $1, fold it up, stick it away in your wallet. Not where you keep the rest of your money. Put it where you put your cards at, stick it in the very back, like that, and just keep it there. I'm like, for what? He said, because anytime somebody asks you if you have money, as long as you have that $1 in your wallet, you always have money. So there should be no point in your life you should say, I don't have money. Because you have money. Now, like he said, how much money you have, they didn't ask that question. And people are not going to ask that question. People are like, well, you got money? Like, yeah, I got money. Well, how much money you have? Well, first of all, none of your business. Because it's not any of their business, right? So when they say, yeah, you know, like they always got money. Yeah, I do. I always have money. Because guess what? I had that $1 in my wallet. Right? I always had that $1 in my wallet. I always kept it in my wallet. So when somebody asked me if I had money, I'm like, yeah, I got money. Right? And people are like, well, can I borrow some money? I have money, but not money for you to borrow. That's what that'd be my answer to them. Or I'm like, I don't loan money, and I don't. I don't loan money. You know, and if I loan money to you, it's probably going to be in a contract, and it's going to be at a very high interest rate. Because I want you to understand that I'm not your bank, and I'm not here for you to borrow money from me whenever you feel like it. So you're going to borrow money from me one time, and one time only, and I'm going to get paid my money back because it's going to be a contract, and I'm going to take you to court if you don't pay me my money back. People like, oh my gosh, Dr. Indio, that's hard, that's harsh, that's this, that's that. No. Once again, Dr. Indio is always about coaching you, always about improving you. I'm getting you to understand that you don't want to get into this habit of borrowing money from people. And if I borrow money, if you borrow money from me, or if I give you money and I don't put a contract with it, and you can tell me all day long, I'm gonna pay you back, I'm gonna pay you back. Trust me, in my mind, I'm telling you, I know I'm not getting that money. I know I'm not gonna see it again. So whatever, right? But if they pay me back, great. If they don't, I already knew, right? But I would have never loaned them the money if I wanted the money back. I would never loan the money, plain and simple, without a contract and charging you high interest rate, right? And so, but anyways, that's why I learned, to remember mindset, to stop being broke, because I always have money. Okay, you don't have a dollar? Put a penny, put a quarter, keep it in your pocket. Always keep it in your pocket. So when when you get in that conversation about money, you got money? I always got money. Yeah, I got money. How much money you got? None of your business, but I got money, right? My family learned to stop asking me that question. They're like, because they swear me down. I'm richer than Warren Buffett right now, because they're like, he always got money. I do. And he never tells how much he has. So that must mean he got a lot. Okay. I'm not gonna sway your opinion, and it's not for me to sway your opinion about me, but it's none of your business about my personal finances. Only business it belongs to is me, myself, and my wife. That is it, right? So understand, ladies and gentlemen, I learned to break a negative habit by starting a positive one. My mentor taught me that. You always got money. You always save money. You always invest money. You look for assets, right? I have a business formula that I follow, that I learned from somebody that went from nothing to something. They have a business formula that they have, and I follow that same business formula. Which is one of the reasons why I don't have a boat, because it's not in my business formula. It's not in my formula. It's not in my financial formula. Put it like this: not just a business formula. It's my financial formula, right? It's my financial management plan. It's not in my plan. Well, it's part of my plan, but I haven't got to that plan yet, right? So, for instance, I'm looking for assets, right? And I let my assets pay for my liabilities. A boat is a liability. And I've had people say, well, yeah, but here come the excuses. It's great. It helps relaxes you. You can get your family. You can spend time. Yeah, I understand all that. Once again, that's an excuse. That's an excuse for why you're having a liability, right? Asset is anything that puts money in my pocket. Liability is anything that takes money out of my pocket, right? Like my house is not it's not an asset to me right now. It's a liability because I haven't paid it off. I'm working on it. Oh, trust me, I got a plan for that too. A plan for a lot faster than my plan is a lot quicker than my bank's plan for me to pay off my house, right? My plan is way quicker than my bank's plan, right? Which is another reason why I don't have a boat. It's because it's not in my financial management plan. It's not along that plan right now. I have higher priorities. Paying my house off and owning my house well before the bank says I can own my house is one of my top priorities, top 5 priorities, right? So my plan is to build assets to pay for my liabilities. Now, once I have an asset that's generating enough income to pay for my liabilities outside of my business income, outside of my employment income or any other income like that, asset, right? Passive or residual income. This passive or residual income is going to pay if my boat, let's say I don't buy it cash or I don't buy it outright and I have to finance the boat. So if I finance the boat and it costs me, let's just say $250 to pay for this boat every month. I'm just throwing out a number here, right? So my asset should be generating at least $250 worth of passive or residual income, because that asset is going to pay for the boat. Does that make sense? That's how I pay for my liabilities. But that's just paying for the boat. So I need to know how much the boat is technically going to cost me every month. It has to cost me, gas, maintenance, all that stuff. So let's say it's $1,000 a month just to have this boat. My asset has to generate a minimum of $1,000 a month, because this asset that I have is the one that's paying for the liabilities, that boat. Why do I set it up that way? I set it up that way because if I ever lose my employment income, if I ever lose my business income, I don't lose my lifestyle, because the boat, I will keep the boat because my employment or my business is not paying for it. My asset is paying for it. Does that make sense? Right? Hope that makes sense to a lot of y'all out there. Because see, that happens all the time. People lose their job. Oh my God, I don't know how I'm going to afford my house. Oh my God, I don't know how I'm going to, keep my cars and all this stuff, because most times you have stretched yourself thin, and you're dependent on one source of income, or you're dependent on this income to pay for everything, right? When if you build assets, this is Dr. NDO's, right? Financial management plan, you build assets, you have one asset pay for, this liability. I have a dream vehicle. Mrs. Dr. NDO has a dream vehicle. Can I go out and buy my dream vehicle right now? Yes, I can. Can we go out and get Mrs. Dr. NDO dream vehicle right now? Yes, we can. And we can be like everybody else, showing off our dream cars, and they nice and everything like that. We can be doing that like everybody else is. But that's not part of our financial management plan, right? Our plan is to have assets to pay for our dream vehicles, because the vehicles is not putting money in our pockets. It's not an asset, it's a liability. So ladies and gentlemen, this is just to understand that, this is how you have it to where finances don't F up your life, right? And if somebody wants to come on board and give me an example, on deck here, and come on as a guest and give me an example of what they do to ensure finances don't F up their life, please feel free, click on in, and then we'll bring you on board, and you can explain that briefly on what you do and how you do it. Because I don't want to be the only person out there that says, okay, this is how Dr. NDO do it, and everybody thinks I'm lying. Because I know there's a lot of people that work in the same way or some shape, form, or fashion, and that's okay. But the whole point is, ladies and gentlemen, you have to find your niche. You have to find what works for you in your financial world, so that way it doesn't F up your life. Because things are going to happen in your financial world that you have to be prepared for, right? And especially, I hear people talk about, well, I want to start a family, but we don't have the finances for it. I want to do this, but I don't have the finances for it and everything. But and I always let people know, if you wait to do it because of finances, then you'll never do it, because you'll never have the finances, right? Because there's always going to be something that's going to prevent you from doing it. You have to have a forward progressive way of thinking to say, okay, I got to make this move. And what I do is I make a move, and then I work to have my finances build to support that move. Some people could say, well, that's careless, Dr. NDO. No, you understand, it takes a little bit more when I go to make that move. I don't do it if I can. I just don't do it just because I want to do it. No, right? It's a calculated move. It's a calculated move that I make. Like, for instance, I'll let a lot of people know this, a lot of people, I got my doctoral. I have a doctoral in executive leadership, right? I study leadership psychology, been doing it for years, decades now, and Dr. NDO can talk to you about leadership, and I can pinpoint, I can pick a leader, I can choose a leader, I can tell you about a leader just by sitting down talking to a person, right? And I can talk leadership, I can dissect it, cut it up. I'm like a heart surgeon. I'm like the top heart surgeon, that you'll want to work on you if you have heart problems, right? I work the same way when it comes to leadership. But anyways, So before I even became Dr. NDO, I was just Mr. NDO, and when the doctoral was brought to me, I was hesitant on it. And one of the reasons I was hesitant on it was because I knew there was a huge bill attached to being doctor, right? And so I said, no, I don't want that kind of bill on me, right? Some people say, well, that's a house payment and all this stuff, whatever, right? And so, I got to thinking, and one of the things Mrs. Dr. Indio does, she always expands my thinking on that and everything. And we got thinking, she was like, well, what are you capable of? And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, well, what are you capable of? Are you capable of generating income that's going to support this move of you becoming a doctor, right? I said, yeah, because, I got a number and I'm working towards that number. I said, well, yeah, that number can support this all together. She said, okay, so what you waiting on? And I said, you know what? You're absolutely right. So ladies and gentlemen, I was letting the finances hold me back from becoming who I am today. And I hear from a lot of people, oh my gosh, doctor, I don't know. And I have people tell me, it ain't that I can't do it. It's just that I don't want to pay that kind of money. Okay, then no. Because I don't want that headache hanging over my life for the rest of my life. And I sit back and I think I'm like, well, the rest of your life, because I have people tell me it's like paying a house payment. It takes you 30 years to pay it off. I'm like, that's your mentality. That's your financial mentality, right? My financial mentality is, no, it ain't. And ladies and gentlemen, Dr. NDO became Dr. NDO in 2020. Dr. NDO don't have a doctor's bill, okay? All because mindset, right? So I enjoy my doctor. I enjoy being a doctor because I don't have that doctor bill, right? Does that make sense? I don't have that doctor bill. I don't. I'm not bragging, ladies and gentlemen. I'm getting you to understand something here. Within 2 years, remember, at first, I had that same mental block. I'm not going to do this because I don't want that bill. My wife was like, no, you need to do this because your knowledge, what you can do, because I've been doing leadership before I became doctor of leadership. I was in leadership. I could dissect leadership then. I'm even better at it because of being a doctor in it. And like my wife reminded me, she say, this industry needs people like you who gonna tell people the truth, who gonna teach people true leadership and not just blow smoke at them because they want to make money off of them, right? And I said, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And so, I pulled the trigger. And once I pulled the trigger, I didn't think about a bill. Ladies and gentlemen, this is true story. True story. I did not know how much money my education cost was until I paid it off. I had no idea. I never looked at the number, ever. I never knew how much the total bill was until after I saw it. I'm like, it was that much? Dang. But let me tell you why. There was no stress on me the whole time. Let me tell you why. Remember what I said. And I always said this in my coaching, and I always do this when I coach people. I ask one question: do you believe in you? And then most people are like, yeah, I believe in me. I said, no, think about this question. Do you really believe in you? And they'll think about it like, yeah, I really believe in me. So what the problem is, as Martin would say in those shows, so what the problem is. So what's the issue? If you believe in you, then what's the problem, right? Look, I knew I could become a doctor of executive leadership. I knew that. I excelled at it. I actually, when I created my research, I created a whole new leadership methodology, right? That is trademarked now and working on being patented. And I knew I was good at it. I didn't know I was that good at it until I entered my doctoral journey. But because I believed in me and I pulled the trigger, that bill never weighed over my head because I knew what I was capable of. And I moved forward. I knew the bill was going to be there because it's it's your education. You got to pay for it, right? And I used up all my military benefits and everything by this time. So I knew I got to pay for it, but that didn't bother me because I knew what I was capable of, and I knew I was going to be able to create the income, to that way I don't have to ever worry about that. So that's why I never paid attention to the final bill, because I already knew I was going to be able to take care of it. I just didn't know I was going to be able to take care of it that fast, but I took care of it, right? And here I am, not even 2 years later, I have no doctor bill. And like I say, it's not to brag, it's to show you that I had developed over the years, certain tactics, some strategies in my financial management plan that allows me to have priorities that way that I'm not allowing my finances to F up my life. Right? So ladies and gentlemen, again, the 3F's, friends, family, finances, that can F up your life. If you didn't hear my first two part series, you can catch them on Wisdom, on the Wisdom app, and you can also go to my YouTube channel, Dr. NDO or Dr. No Days Off, and you can find them there, and me talking about friends and talking about family, the other two F's, and then now talking about finances. If you want a better life, you got to have a balance in the 3F's. You got to have a balance in those 3F's, and that way it won't F up your life. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for being a part of this 3-part series. You can continue to check out Dr. NDO and Dr. NDO Coaching. You can go to my company website at tmtservices.intl.com. That's tmtservicesintl.com. You see what our company and what we do, right? We have a leadership development and consulting and coaching company. We also are an independent, independent national insurance agency, where we have insurance agents and financial advisors that work on a part-time or full-time basis, 100% from home, building a career or building passive residual income. So we have them doing that, and then we do a lot of keynote speaking. We do a lot of training. We do a whole different platform. You can go to my website, check it out. Ladies and gentlemen, you can just stay tuned with us on social media. I'm on the Wisdom app, right? You can stay tuned with us on social media. I'm on the Wisdom app. I'm also on, we put in Dr. NDO, LinkedIn, you put in Dr. No Days Off, you'll find me, okay? You'll find me on social media. I'm the only Dr. No Days Off on there. I better be, because I better be. But anyway, I am the only one. And if I'm not the only one, then I am the original, and everybody else is just a carbon copy. And you already know what happens when you start making copies, right? All the other copies, the original is the best you're ever going to get. The copies there's always a downgrade to the original anyways. But ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for being a part of this series, and I look forward to helping you and coaching you in the future on other leadership and personal and professional development topics. Till then, I'm Dr. No Days Off, and I'm out.